Welcome back to Dad and a Rock. This is Shaun,
And this is Chris.
and tonight we are talking The Last Frontier. Oh, wait a second. No, we're not. We're not talking The Last Frontier anymore. We dropped it.
Nope. We're talking Jingle Bells now. We're in a holiday spirit.
This is the Monday after Halloween, which means officially it's Christmas season.
Oh yeah.
My daughter let me know that as of midnight, November 1st, Mariah Carey broke from the ice,
Oh,
started
oh
singing
no,
her song.
she thawed.
She thawed, yeah,
Oh no,
and it
that's
is now the holiday season, and we're gonna, celebrate accordingly.
yeah. I mean, I love the holiday season. Thanksgiving has kind of slowly lost its meaning to me. It's just, I mean, as an adult, it's a meal with family, which you can do any time of the year. So it's kind of eh. So I can see why we jump right past it and go right to Christmas. I mean, my nephew and niece have already sat on Santa's lap at, I think it may have been a Bob Evans who was kind of hanging out. So
Oh
I don't
my
know if it was
gosh,
Santa.
already?
Yeah, I think he was out at Bob Evans, and so I was like, "Geez, we already." And that was pre Halloween.
Wow.
I was like, "Wow, that's a little early, even from even for Walmart steaks."
You know what's wild too is how stores they used to like have, a week or a week and a half where they had to have all like the Halloween stuff or stuff out on clearance that you would just come and buy. They don't do that anymore. Like you go to Target on like Halloween day and it's pretty much all gone. Like
Oh,
it's
it's
all
clearance like a 3 or 4 days prior to the holiday.
yeah.
They already have everything on clearance and they're pulling stuff off and they're ready for the next one to come in. I'm pretty sure you can go in now and there's Christmas trees up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there were last week. Yeah. It's crazy how they do that. Anyway.
So we're doing this series we're calling the MISFIT Movies. Really, what this is we selected, each of us picked 4 movies, and it's holiday movies we have not seen. There's a
Yeah.
couple on the list that Shaun picked that I've never seen. You guys may flambe me for, which I think. Have you seen all the movies on your list?
I've seen 2 of the movies on my list.
You've seen 2 of the 4. Okay. I seen 1 of the 4 on my list. And as you guys can see by the thumbnail, I picked a off the wall, different. I knew neither of us have seen a movie. Tyler Perry's Medea's Christmas.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did you know anything of this character prior to watching this movie?
I know of Madea. Yeah, it's Tyler Perry's like caricature of an old black woman that's just like very vocal and loud and
Yeah.
that's really all I know. That and it's like a character that he does. He dresses in drag like old school like Milton Berle from back in the days like and yeah, I know that there's a crap ton of Madea movies.
Yeah.
I think there's one for every holiday and like,
Oh, she goes
several
to
that it
jail and there's reunions and there's pretty much
yeah.
anything and everything. And I knew the character through like little things, like going through like TikToks and seeing Tyler Perry do the character and like outtakes when he's breaking. Like he can't hold character. He loses it. So I was like, you know what? I know this is gonna be a movie that's not normal for either of us to actually catch. So
I
I was
think
like, you know
we're
what?
probably, to be fair, we're probably outside the demographic for a Madea movie.
That's probably fair to say. So I was like, you know what? Let's start this off on a note. It's a comedy. I was like, you know what?
Yep.
Let's start off with some fun. And no, let's do this real quick. Let's go ahead and watch a trailer. And when we come back, we'll get Shaun's your thoughts on it real fast, and then we'll kind of jump into mine. So here we
Okay.
go. And
How you doing, America? What can I get for you?
Does Santa really work in the North Pole?
No, he don't work. He lays on the couch and he drinks all day. He's trifling. I have to pay all the bills. He kind of like your mama. Now, bye. Next.
Okay, Madea, this is where you'll be working.
Okay. I need y'all to go get me some scratch off. Just 2 or 3 of them. Baby, I need some help. Hold on, because somebody's screaming at me. I'm getting ready to choke the hell out of her.
Mom, I'm not gonna be able to come home this year.
It's Christmas. I'll come up there. I could ask your Aunt Madea to come with me.
Your daughter is grown. Leave her alone.
I'll pay you.
What time you gonna leave?
Surprise!
Surprise!
Who are you?
I'm Connor.
Mama, Daddy. Well, Miss Madea, looks like we're gonna be spending Christmas dinner together this year. Did you hear the one about the two rabbis and the black dude?
Did you hear the one about the stray bullet that killed the redneck for telling the story about the two rabbis and the black dude?
This holiday season,
Lacey, you do not have a Christmas tree?
Just leave this child alone. She living her life. She happy out here in the farm playing old McDonald.
when help is needed,
God, these nipples so tough. You need a mammogram. You got to pull them things. You got to pull them hard. Pull them. Pull them.
You all right?
I done fell in bull.
when children need a little guidance,
The Bible says that when little baby Jesus was born, he was born to the Virgin Mary. J. Blige.
and when everyone could use some wisdom,
Good morning, Miss Mandela.
Not Mandela, honey. Medea.
What are they doing here anyway?
Hush up, dragon lady.
Medea's got the gift.
This is Christmas. You got to be nice to people. Pass it on niceness. I ain't taking my medicine this morning.
What medicine?
5 milligrams of don't choke that hoe. Merry Christmas.
Tyler Perry's A Madea Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho. Not you. Look how you jumped on. I'm talking to you. Go see a Madea Christmas. You gonna enjoy yourself.
Oh, where we go? There we are. Okay. So now that you guys are on the same page as we are, give it to me, Shaun. What was your thoughts?
I think within 5 minutes, I was like, "Oh no, what am I in for?" Like within 5 minutes, I checked the length of the movie, and I saw how far we had gone into the movie already, and how far we had left to go in the movie, and I was like, "Oh dear."
Oh dear.
It pretty much opens up like with her working a part-time job at this fancy retail store that her friend works at,
Her
and her
sister.
just like being a jerk towards customers, and it felt very like improv, like a lot of improv, a lot of banter
Yeah.
back and forth that didn't feel like writing necessarily. It felt like, I don't know what it felt like. It felt like I was watching a scene between two real. It felt real because it didn't feel scripted, which I
Okay.
guess
There's a
can
plus,
be
I guess. We're
can be good. I guess if you, I don't know, depends.
You were so uncomfortable talking about this. This is great.
And then the rest of the movie, it felt a lot of like that, a lot of like improv that didn't necessarily work for me, and kind of a threadbare plot, and it looked cheap. Like it looked really like cheaper than even like a Hallmark Christmas movie. Like it looked like bad sets, not a ton of extras. I don't know, just like
Yeah,
for a
there
Madea
wasn't a lot
movie.
of people in it, really, was there? Come to think of it,
No,
there were like extras and nothing. There wasn't very many bodies in this movie.
yeah, and like it was supposed, and like even like the schoolroom had a total of like 10 kids in it, and it looked like it was filmed in like a closet. Like it
Mm.
was just it was a rough, I'll be honest, it was a rough watch for me. It was rough.
I enjoyed it because I knew what I was getting into. I knew I was getting into something that was going to be ridiculously dumb. So I went into it knowing I was going to laugh at the movie, not with the movie, if that makes sense. I was laughing at the size of the classroom. I was laughing at the situation in the very beginning when they're in the actual department store,
Yeah.
or the absurdity of, all these parents in the principal's office yelling at the principal and the mayor and I guess a lawyer, and then a ex-boyfriend from 20 years ago comes in to try to save the day with $100,000 check to save the Christmas Jubilee. One guy won't let someone else plant corn in the area because he's planting corn. There was so many stupid things in this movie that I found myself laughing throughout the whole thing because I was laughing at the stupidity, not so much the stupidity and the lack of story. The story was stupid, but it was like almost like it was a failed Hallmark movie because the underlying message in the story is fantastic, but how they got there was absurd.
Yeah. I guess I couldn't get enjoyment out of like watching it like that, like making fun of it because I kept wanting to because there are movies like that are designed to be that stupid, like parody movies, like Scary Movie, or you know what I mean? Like they're designed to be bad or over the top, or like, you're designed to laugh at it in that way. And this, it felt like people were trying. I felt too bad for everyone involved to be laughing at it.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm the guy that laughs when you fall down, so I've got no problem laughing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Larry the Cable Guy was a surprise. He
I did
showed
not
up.
expect to see him or Kathy Jimmy. Those two
Yeah.
popping into it threw me. I was like, hold on, I did not expect these two in it.
Every time she talked, all I heard was Peggy Hill, because she does the voice of Peggy Hill on King of the Hill,
Yeah.
and she even does, like, a Southern accent too for that, so I was like, "Well, that's just Peggy Hill." But I think the main character, I forget the character's name, but the woman that ended up being, that was involved with this school and kind of a new employee there and had bought this farm with her
Lacey.
husband. What's her
Yeah.
name?
Yeah. Lacey.
Lacey. I think she actually was good, and she's in a lot of, Tyler Perry's movies. I don't know if these characters that are around Medea are, like, recurring characters. I think they are. I think they show up a lot.
I think they're a lot like Adam Sandler movies. Adam
Yeah.
Sandler keeps a lot of the same people in the movies with him. I think Tyler Perry is very similar.
She was good. I don't think the one that played Medea's sister was very good. She was another one where she was trying to riff with, Tyler Perry, and, um I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I understand why you would be into any time where, somebody can get into a character like an over the top character like that. There's some sense of fun with it, like an Ernest, which we're gonna be talking about in a few
Yeah.
weeks,
That's another one. Yeah. Go
or
figure
Pee
it's
Wee
another
Herman.
one.
Yeah. Or like, there were a lot of them in the '80s, Elvira, you know what I mean? We just went through the Halloween season. Remember Elvira? Like, just like these characters, these over the top characters. So I get it, and I understand why there would be an allure to be over the top. I just didn't find anything like redeeming about Medea herself. Like, she was pretty much mean to everyone around her. She was somewhat kind to her own family, I guess, from moment to moment. I didn't get a consistency on, like, who is Medea? What is she like? Like, it just seemed to be all over the place, and I didn't understand her relation to everybody else.
And I think the big part of that is we're not the target audience.
Yeah,
I think that's the big thing on why. I mean, you're missing it. And honestly, I seen her as a loving character to her family, definitely towards her niece Lacey,
right.
because you can tell she figured it out pretty quick,
She
and she was
did,
like,
yeah.
How long is she gonna let this game go, or how long are the in-laws, Larry the Cable Guy and Kathy and Jimmy, gonna go ahead and let this go before there's a snap? Because I feel like they never truly said it, but it was Connor's house or family house they
Right,
purchased
right. Yeah,
because
and
of
it
the
definitely
tree that was
feels like
planted out front and everything.
it feels like they went in on it together. I mean, they're a married couple, so it's like
Yeah,
their expenses are shared, so it feels like they went on it together. They didn't really go into a lot of detail, and honestly, you don't even know until halfway into the movie that they are actually married. Because at first, when they first introduce him, she's taking a phone call. He's just kinda sitting there at the table, and
yeah,
as a audience member, you're like, "Okay, well, I don't know who this guy he could be the farmhand. I don't know who he is."
yeah.
And they don't really clarify it in that moment. And then only later you realize, oh no, they're like romantically involved. After some like context clues and like, how they talk to each other. And you think, well, maybe they're like dating out of college or something. And then even further in the movie, you're like, oh no, they're completely married.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
whoa.
they're married. Well, yeah, because you find out, her whole situation at the school and trying
Yeah.
to help that young kid, and it just, I don't know, that didn't work at all. The school thing for me was completely absurd. I was like, okay, this just feels weird. Nothing about that. I expected the mayor to take the check and pocket it. That's what I was expecting.
Right.
That's what
Yeah.
rather than actually spending it and putting it towards the jubilee and putting it towards the school, I was expecting that to actually happen. So, I mean, that didn't happen, but
I think it was just a kind of a weird story because I would expect a character like Medea, even though this is my first Medea movie, I kinda understand the character, and I feel like especially since it's a Madea Christmas, she kinda seemed like a side character, even though when she is on screen, it's, like, big and boisterous, and she,
Yeah.
like, chews up the scenery, but as far as the plot goes, Madea was only kinda tangentially involved. I figured that there was gonna be some kind of peril where this town wasn't gonna, survive or thrive without this jubilee, and Medea directly has some kind of thing where she affects the change and somehow gets the money or does something like you said, like if the mayor runs off the money, like she chases the mayor down or raises the money in some different ways with some city know-how that she has. You know what I mean? Some because
Yeah.
she was like a it was kind of like a fish out of water tale, because they came from the big city to this rural town. And I thought maybe she would have like connections or something and get something going. But there really wasn't anything like that. It was she didn't really do anything to help the plot move forward. She was
In
just kind
really
of
in reality,
there.
no, she was there, yeah, because the
Yeah.
main plot was between Lacey and her mom, and then the side plot was between Lacey and that, I guess his name was Oliver, the
All
old
yeah.
boyfriend that came in with all that money to go ahead and save the Jubilee, so there was those plots, and then the Medea was just kind of yeah, you're right, she was there. When she was on the screen,
Yeah.
I mean, she stole the show,
Right.
but there was no true purpose for her to even be in the movie.
She even made Larry the Cable Guy look subdued. Like, whatever character, like, because he was unlike his typical Larry the Cable Guy personality, he was almost, like, halfway between if Larry the Cable Guy was turned up to 11, he was, like, down to, like, a 6 or 7, you know? He was
Yeah,
just, like he was cracking jokes, but he was also kind of, like, giving Tyler Perry room to be the only big
yeah.
personality, you know?
Letting him go ahead and breathe with Medea rather than trying to overshadow.
Yeah. I did like that couple. I did overall, like, seeing I like the idea of, like, 2 very separate families coming together and spending Christmas together that they didn't realize they were gonna be spending Christmas together.
Yeah,
They don't know each other. One side of the family doesn't even know that the other side is, like, family now, like, they think it's, like, the parents of the help, you know?
I thought it was interesting that Connor's family knew.
Right.
So Larry and, what was their actual names? Buddy and Kim. They
Buddy and Kim,
actually
yeah.
knew that Lacey and Connor were married. They knew that already existed, and they loved the fact that they were. They didn't care about any of it.
I know, I did appreciate that too, where it was because this would have been an easy trope in like a movie where they're out in the boonies, they're out in the sticks, and of course the white couple would have been like, how dare you marry into a black family, or there was going to be some kind of tension there, right?
Yeah,
When really the only tension was from Medea's sister, who was and the reason being was almost somewhat, as far as like her man ran out of her on her in the past for a white woman, so she's had this thing against,
yeah,
the white race since then. So it's like that whole thing comes up, and it was actually tension. It was Lacey thought it was for some other reason, and that they cleared the air. I guess what I'm trying to say is I appreciate the fact that was it Buddy and Kim, Larry and
yeah.
Buddy and
Buddy and
Kim,
Kim.
right?
Yeah,
That they were just like so open. They were like, "Oh hell yeah!" Like they were like so happy to have them there. It
yeah.
was like a
Well,
breath
like
of
we
fresh
called
air.
her, beauties from within the heart and everything, not
Right.
skin tone and all that. So they love the fact that he found her. She
Yeah.
came from this city. She came from somewhere she wasn't familiar with to come to that environment, and she's honestly struggling. She's in a town that does see skin tone,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was very clear on the way that they portrayed that. So she's kind of a fish out of water, trying to figure out her own way. And yeah, the way she got fired, and then they really didn't even say anything about this, but the truck accident, and then Lacey's mom pulling him out of the truck.
Right.
It's like, shouldn't there be a little bit more said about that? That seems awfully a pretty big deal. And the truck exploded, and the whole deal happened, and
Yeah. It
I
was
feel like
like,
there should
"Thank you for saving my life. My wife brought you a pie."
yeah, she baked it pretty quick.
Yeah, they did. They rushed that. They should have let that air out a little bit as far as because the Chad Michael Murray character was like becoming more and more of a antagonist. because he was the one that was keeping his son from, flourishing in his creativity. He was the one that was like, pretty much got Lacey fired from her teaching job.
Mhm.
He was being like the one that was like having a
Apparently,
real issue and
he
blocking
bullied
them.
Connor too as a kid.
Yeah. And so that was kind of a quick turnaround that they didn't really let breathe. They kind of rushed right into going to the Jubilee right after.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like there was a bunch of interesting story threads that if they were woven together better would have made for actually a pretty decent holiday movie and a movie in general. I just feel like none of them really I can forgive a budget. I'm sure these things didn't have like a huge
Oh,
budget.
it's probably nothing.
I can forgive the lack of sets and whatever. But ultimately, it's like you don't need that stuff to put pen on paper. You know what I mean? First thing you need is to be able to construct a story.
Yeah.
And this thing was messy. Like none of the plot threads kind of wove into each other. And there were I could sense some good stuff there, but none of it really came together for me.
Well, then you had the construction company that I guess built a dam,
Right.
and I guess the water supply to the town was a lot lower because of that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we touched on that a little bit. So this town he can't sell his poinsettias or
Right.
for because of the Jubilee now. So that was an uproar. Then there was a corn situation with him as well, and apparently he makes his 8-year-old son work in the fields before school. I mean, we're talking
Right.
child labor. Uh, I mean, there was a lot of weird things, and that's why I'll say, wait, not even to mention the very beginning when they're coming down to the town, they stop at the gas station, and Medea walks into the Ku Klux Klan meeting. I
Oh, and
mean,
that's the last we saw of them too.
yeah. So I mean, that was a running joke throughout the rest of the actual movie, but there
Right.
was so many little things, and I think that's why once we were 10 minutes in, I started laughing at the absurdness of the movie and enjoying it for that way rather than trying to connect any dots. Like when I seen the school and I seen the parents and everyone in there and them complaining about now, the common, we can't take Christ out of Christmas. And I'm laughing at all this. So I'm
Yeah.
like it's a lot of it was so stereotypical of like a lot of different situations. Like if you're driving into the deep south into a redneck
Right.
town that has nobody that's ever truly left a town,
Yeah.
yet that's the picture that a lot of people have. So
Yeah, they kinda toyed around with some of those ideas, but never really, like, boldface got into it, like, they could just kinda touched on it without really doing too much, and I guess, in a holiday movie where they got so many other story threads going on,
mhm.
I don't know which one you wanna really focus on, like, I get why they just kinda touched on it, but I think, like, and I don't know, I think it's a little unfair too because we're judging it fresh, like, we've not even seen any other Madea movies, right? You
Yeah,
haven't seen any other ones, right?
no, I haven't
So
seen
I
any
don't
other
even
ones.
know in the pantheon, like, where this would be as far as all the Madea movies, like, is it one of the better ones? Is it was it one of the worst ones? Like, I don't
We got to
know.
put it in context too. This was came out in 2013, so it's not exactly didn't come out last year. So it's got a little bit of age on it, and I think it showed
Right.
a little bit of its age as well.
Yeah, I think so. Well, when did the Madea craze kinda start? When was
I
that?
think '08.
Yeah,
I
maybe something
think
like
it's
that.
around '08 because I was kind of looking at what other movies are out there that were Medea movies just for fun. Just kind of curious to see
Right.
where it falls in the rest of the actual movies. And it was right about, I think, '08.
I think he started as, like, a stage play or something because I was looking specifically for a Madea Christmas, and there was a version that came out in 2010, I think, that was, like, I guess this, but a stage play, and then they adapted the stage play into a movie into 2013. So that's what I think that's where Tyler Perry kinda came the same way that, like, Pee Wee Herman came up from, like, the stand-up comedy shows in Los Angeles originally, and then, like, grew a bunch of people that he worked with and eventually did like the Pee Wee Herman the children's show and stuff. Um, but yeah, Tyler Perry built an entire I mean, this was successful. Like
Yeah,
him being Medea was like huge for a period. I don't know if any
it's almost to the extent of like Eddie Murphy. And when
Yeah,
he did, his characters and everything, he kind of Tyler Perry's almost kind of followed in that line. Like they knew their target audience, and
yeah.
they just went for it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he built his own production company based
Mhm.
off the success that he had with, Madea, his own, like, movie studio and stuff too, so it's like, he definitely made some money. I don't know if I feel like something's telling me in the back of my brain that Tyler Perry's been canceled in the last couple of years.
I have
I
no
don't know.
idea.
So I don't know, how great
But
of
he
a
also may be
businessman he
one of
was.
those guys that just don't care.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
there's a
when you
lot of
have
those
the money he
comedians
made.
that just don't care. They'll keep going,
Right.
and people are still going to come out to him, still see him. Good luck trying.
I think this is very strange that we kicked off our, 8-movie set here with one neither one of us had seen, and it's a Madea.
That's exactly why I waited for. I wanted something completely absurd, something we would have no idea what we're getting ourselves into, because I did the exact same thing you did. I checked the runtime. I was like, okay, I got about an hour. I got about 90 minutes. I can handle about 90 minutes. I'm sitting there and I'm laughing. I got my phone in my hand. I'm paying attention. I'm watching. I'm just laughing at the absurdity. Wife's sitting next to me. She's like, "What the hell are we watching?" She asked me a couple times, and she's kind of looking over her iPad. She's reading, and she'll kind of do this. What? So
Uh,
I think as a whole, I no, I think we should give it a rating. How should we do this? Each movie, should we do 5 or should we do 10?
do 10.
Do 10. I'm gonna give this a solid 6. I won't watch it again, but I enjoyed what I watched. See? I enjoyed it for the absurdity. I knew what I was getting into. I knew the terribleness. I looked past all the story because I just thought it was ridiculous, and I was laughing at it. If you can get me to laugh at you, you won.
I give it a 3. I give it a
Okay.
3.
I'm not shocked.
I
Not
give
shocked
it
at all.
I think there were some talented people acting, there were some not talented people acting. I think some storylines had potential, I think others did not. I think, the 3 is just even just those 3 points is based on what potential there was for the movie. But yeah, as far as execution, just like I don't think I laughed once during the whole movie. Did
Really?
you have a genuine laugh during the movie?
I think I did, and I think it was when Larry the Cable Guy, Kathy and Jimmy were in the bedroom, and they were doing their ghost thing, and
Yeah.
what's her name walked in. I think I was an actual legit belly laugh out of me.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
when
I
Medea
imagine.
fell in the stall in the where the cows were and everything.
You
So
fell in the poop.
yeah, so there was a few spots that actually got me, but then there was a lot. There was more. I'm laughing at this absurdity than I was laughing with the movie.
Right.
So what's that?
Alright,
An
so
average of what? 4.5?
well, yeah, that's 9 out of 20, so,
Oh,
20
oh no,
divided
that's
by
no.
9 or I don't know, something like that. 9
Yeah.
divided by 20. Yeah, 0.45. Uh, so yeah, 45% on Rotten Tomatoes, that's what we give it.
Okay, so we're on the lower end. So okay, but I mean
Yeah.
that's honestly, if going into this, I would not expected anything, but I would expect it a lot worse. Frankly,
Yeah.
I expect you to give it lower. I expected it to give it a little bit lower going into it. So the fact that I gave it a nice 6, I'm a little shocked at it, but
We're gonna hit some high notes here. These are some movies that I was surprised to learn, and we'll reveal them as we put them out each week. I don't wanna go over the whole list now. We already gave some spoilers, but there are a couple that I chose that I was really surprised that you hadn't seen that are kind of like almost staples or they become more popular. They don't necessarily
okay,
see, going into this idea, I wanted to talk about movies. You know how you go into like FYE or like Target or whatever,
mhm.
and all the holiday stuff is out. It's
Yeah,
always merchandise for Elf, Christmas Vacation, Home Alone, and then you got your
Christmas
favorite
Story,
Christmas movies that aren't Christmas movies like Die Hard and
yeah,
Gremlins, like just huge popular movies, right? That you see every year. You're kind of inundated with the same
yeah,
10 movies, right?
yeah. And
And I
I've got
wanted
a
to talk
list that I
about
have to hit every year too.
which one?
I have a list of movies I hit every year.
Oh, yeah, or even the stuff that's kind of, you know, like Muppet Christmas Carol,
Yep,
where yeah,
Muppet
but
Christmas
even
Carol,
that, like,
Polar
that
Express,
yeah.
uh, uh, what is it? You mentioned already, A Christmas Story, Nightmare Before
Oh, Chris
Christmas.
yeah.
I mean, these are the staples that I hit every year, and then sometimes I'll sneak some extra ones in there. And the idea behind what we're doing here is sneaking ones in there that we don't typically put in there or have never put in there. And Medea is one we've never put in there.
Right, yeah.
It
So
probably won't again.
I'm looking forward to it because I'm gonna be sitting down and watching some movies that I've always intended to watch but never have, and I'm gonna get to share movies with you that I really enjoy that you've never seen. So I think this is a good idea. We're gonna be talking about one each week between now and basically the week of Christmas is when we'll release our 8th movie, and, yeah, I think it'll be a bit fun. It'll be a nice way to spend the holidays.
This is gonna be fun because I knew how you were gonna go about this. So I went about it the opposite way. That's exactly what I did. That was my train of thought. I was like, I know he's gonna go for, these more standard movies, bigger movies that he knows I haven't seen. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, where can I go with this? So it's like you even mentioned Ernest Saves Christmas. That's another one of my choices.
Right, right.
So this is gonna be fun. I mean, like I said, we have one a week. We're gonna do them live. Let us know what you guys are thinking. If you love Tyler Perry's Medea, light us up. I want to hear your thoughts because if you really like this movie, sorry, I thought it was ridiculously funny, and Shaun just thought it was ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like people will have their own movies that they have in rotation, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? This movie specifically is probably in a lot of people's, like, where they have to watch it each year,
Yeah.
and it's like, if that's one for you, let us know, and like I was saying earlier, I'm curious how this particular one stacks up against the other Madea movies. Like, let us know in the comments and tell us how wrong we are. We're right, we are.
All right, we are. No, we're probably wrong, but we'll take
We're
it.
probably
We're
wrong.
middle-aged white men. We're wrong.
We're definitely wrong.
Oh boy, so that's all we got for this week. How's the family doing? Anything new happened this week? Anything going on?
Oh, let's see. Well, my kid pranked called she was home from school today, and, she prank called you.
And she did not anticipate me answering the phone because her name pops up on my phone. I'm like, interesting. Let me see what this is. And she starts talking. She's like, oh, wrong number. Click, 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 click. Expecting to go to the voicemail so she could leave me a voicemail, which
I
I
thought she
still
had, like,
have.
a I thought she had, like, a voice changer thing going that she was gonna pull,
Oh,
like, a scream.
oh,
Oh, was
she
it?
had something. It was very. I knew it was her,
Yeah.
but I knew she was trying to pull some type of ruse on me. It was funny.
She's been she was so into Halloween. Oh, Halloween, we just had Halloween. What did you all end up going as?
I ended up going as a middle-aged white man in front of a fire.
Okay.
So I sat at the house, I handed out candy. Me, my brother, and my mom were here. I had my pumpkins out front singing. Dude, we got slammed. Like I thought I was
Really?
gonna run out of candy. It was my house because of the pumpkins. I had adults coming up and kids were stopping and watching. I had adults coming by saying, we drove by 3 or 4 times during October and stopped and watched. Or I had one lady say, we did it twice. My in-laws came in town. I had to bring them by to see it. People were recording it. And it's like, and it wasn't just my house though. We had houses further up the street that did their houses up. So our street became a destination street. And
You've got a good neighborhood for, trick or treating. Mine seems to skew older. There's a lot of retirees here. Not a ton of kids. So, and we live in kind of a cul-de-sac that's even kind of like out of the way, the main neighborhood. So you can walk right by the entrance of our street and not come down here. And a lot of times it's around a curve and it's kind of dark this way. So I was usually like I'm always gone. Like we always go to another side of town for trick or treat. But usually my phone it starts buzzing with like people like walking past my driveway, right? And I've got like security so it notifies me and sends me little pictures anytime there's people walking down in front of our house and on our street. I didn't even get those. So it seems like trick or treaters just completely avoided our entire street this year.
yeah, no, it was fun. Zach dressed up as a inflatable dinosaur, so he was running around in his inflatable dinosaur costume.
Yeah.
He went around. He was gone. We had to call him. And say, "Dude, you coming home?" It was like 8:30, and eventually he found his way home. Skylar was with Janessa, and they were out, and literally it was after 8:30. Like my mom's car is kind of is messed up right now, so I gave her a ride up here. So I had to give her a ride home, and it's like no one was even here when I left. I was like, holy crap, where is everybody?
Yeah.
So everybody had a blast this year when it comes to Halloween. It was a great night. It wasn't cold. It was chilly, but the fire was great. It wasn't raining. It was a Friday night, which led to I think all the kids coming out more so than in the past years.
Yeah.
So it was a really, really fun night for everyone this year.
I did love that it was on Friday because we were able to go a little later too. Because it seems like stuff starts winding down, especially after it gets dark, when Halloween falls on a Wednesday or whatever.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. You got to wrap it up pretty quickly, and
Yeah, it sucks, but this was fun, and next year it'll be fun too because it'll be on a Saturday.
I think it's a
Here's
Saturday. Yeah,
I was pulling up a picture. Here's my crew.
that is awesome.
Yeah. Christina is Pamela Voorhees, loving her son Jason, and me just with the T-shirt. We rocked it.
Let me see if I can find a quick picture of there is Skylar and Zach.
She
She's a
looks
witch.
enormous.
Yeah. He couldn't do it. He couldn't put it on the house
Oh
because
yeah.
literally it stands probably 8 feet tall. So he's
Oh
ducking
my
down in the
god.
house.
That's wild.
It was fun. Oh, then when he first put on, he would run. So the box where the batteries were had a connect, like a quick connect piece on it.
Yeah.
So he would run, it'll come apart. Next thing you know, he's melting. So he had to find a way to put it together and slip it in his pocket so he could actually say run and look ridiculous in it. So
Yeah.
it was fun.
That's good. It seems like yeah, and the weather held up too.
Yeah.
So it seemed like a pretty good Halloween. We even said, like, on the way home, we were like, "That was a good Halloween."
Yeah. And it
'Cause
rolled right in.
it had been, like, not only, like, falling on a day outside the weekend, but just, like, kinda windy, rainy, cold,
Yeah.
these past few years, so it was perfect.
Yeah, it rolled right into a very busy day, weekend for Zach. He had 2 more soccer games. He had he's a part of the Olympic development program here in Ohio for soccer players his age. And then we had a playoff soccer game Sunday night too. So it was like it rolled right into that, and he was exhausted. By the
I
time we
bet.
hit last night we were driving home from Columbus,
Yeah.
he was wiped out.
Gotta keep that train moving, though. The
Oh
old
yeah, it
soccer
never
train.
stops. It slows down for nobody. We're all for a week and then we go to indoor. So it's like
Yeah.
soccer season never ends for the youth level.
Well, that's going to be it for us this week. Here's a little preview for next week. We're going to be covering a movie that I chose, the 1991 film Dutch, starring Ed O'Neill. The trick about this one is that it is not available currently. It has not come to streaming. It is not on any apps. It's not one that you can buy on Fandango or any Amazon Prime video streaming service. It's currently, I think the Blu-ray you can go and get it off eBay for like $200 or $300. It is an out of print movie, which is surprising because when I was a kid, this movie was on HBO Cinemax like every year, all the time, and it's just like not available anymore. It was written by John Hughes, who did a ton of movies, including, like the Home Alone movies and Breakfast Club and like
Yeah,
a
all the
ton of movies
80s
with John
classics. Yeah.
Candy. So it's kind of surprising that it's not more widely available. I had to find it, or I had some friends in Russia, I guess, that somehow were able to post the entirety of the movie.
Okay, what I've seen on our channel now makes a lot more sense now that what you're
Yes.
telling everybody here, so we can be prosecuted for for copyright infringement.
It's just strictly for private use only for you and I to watch on our channel. It's marked private. YouTube was very clear that I was not able to share that video
I
with
was
anyone.
so confused. I seen that and I was like, "Homeboy knows better." I was like, "What is this all about?" So now,
Um, So, if you happen to have the DVD from years ago, throw it in, give it a watch. But otherwise, I don't know when you, as an audience member, but maybe you have fond memories of this movie from back in the day, as I have, and you and I can discuss it next week.
it's like kind of like Dogma. You can't get that anywhere either. That's another movie
Exactly.
that's completely out there.
Yeah. So that's gonna be it.
Okay, so I guess until we see you next week, I'm gonna say it. Ho ho ho.
See ya.